In a cramped Queensbridge apartment, 9-year-old Nas sits where the walls are thin. He clutches a worn notebook, scribbling rhymes while his father's jazz trumpet echoes, blending melody with his emerging thoughts. By 14, he wanders the concrete hallways of the massive housing projects, alongside his friend Ill Will, who spins records on makeshift turntables, trading textbooks for the wisdom of the 5% nation. He spends his nights refining a flow where every word hits like a bullet. In 1992, he enters the recording booth as Nasty Nas to lay down halftime. The industry freezes. 2 years later, at only 20, he releases Illmatic. He captures the gritty, poetic truth of urban life, transforming his local struggle into a global anthem that shakes the foundations of hip-hop forever. Nas does not stop, and he never settles. He simply keeps writing. From the project windows to the global stage, he made sure the world finally listened. A 5-year-old boy stands on a balcony in Compton, watching a fatal shooting unfold. The sirens wail through the smog, but he stays silent. His wide eyes are fixed on the chaos, absorbing a reality no child should ever know. Years later, that same boy stands on a street corner, watching Tupac Shakur film a video. The camera flashes ignite a sudden spark in his soul. He sees a different path. By 16, the cycle of violence claims a close friend. Kendrick stands in his bedroom. The silence is deafening. He drops his pen, walks to the window. He turns away from the gang life and opens a Bible. He begins to write the raw truth. He adopts the name K-Dot, repeating his mantra, "I cannot change the world until I change myself." Anthony Top Dog Tiffith hears the tape and signs him immediately. The struggle pays off. He walks onto a stage, holding the Pulitzer Prize. He looks at the trophy, then back at Compton, having turned his trauma into a map for others to follow. Marshall Mathers gripped his backpack straps tight as he stepped into another cold Detroit classroom. The whispers were immediate. He was the perpetual new kid, a walking target for every bully, shoved against cold metal lockers, his books scattered like debris. But inside, a storm was brewing. He didn't use his fists. At 14, tucked away in a cramped room, he fought back with a pen. Scribbling rhymes into a tattered notebook, he transformed isolation into rhythmic fury. Adopting the name M and M, he began haunting the underground scene, turning trauma into a weapon. The hip-hop shop went dead silent when he stepped onto the stage, the only white rapper in the room. He faced a wall of jeers and heavy skepticism. He didn't blink. Marshall grabbed the microphone and unleashed a torrent of complex, blistering verses. In that moment, the insults died, replaced by the roar of a stunned audience. He poured every rejection and every ounce of pain into his music. Failing school couldn't stop him. Marshall Mathers turned his trauma into a superpower, rising to become a global icon. May 2000, a black sedan idles in Queens. In a flash of violence, 9 bullets tear through Curtis Jackson at point-blank range. He collapses on the cold pavement, blood pooling as the world turns its back. Columbia Records dropped him instantly, shelving his debut. Insiders whispered his career was dead, but Jackson saw it differently. This was a man who had been selling drugs since age 12 to survive. While his body healed, his hunger grew into something lethal. He flooded the streets with raw, relentless mixtapes. No radio, no gatekeepers. The music spread like a virus, reaching the ears of Eminem and Dr. Dre. Within months, the man left for dead signed a historic deal. Those 9 shots were not an end. They were the violent catalyst for a global empire. He was no longer just Curtis. He was 50 Cent. Sean Carter stands in the shadow of the Marcy projects. He is only 13, but the weight in his pocket is heavy a bag of crack cocaine. In the courtyard, a man collapses from a gunshot wound. Sean does not flinch. Survival is a daily calculation. By night, under a flickering street lamp, his pen moves as fast as his pulse. He sells CDs from the trunk of a beat-up car, block after block. Every major label slams the door in his face. "You are not a fit," they tell him. He and his partners rent a small office and name it Rockefeller Records. He looks at them and says, "We do not stop here." He builds the stage himself, recording his first album with money from the streets. Years later, the pavement turns to glass. He sits at the head of a boardroom table. He remembers the cold concrete of Marcy, The hustle never changed. Only the office did. From the corner to the crown, the vision remains the same.